Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're immersing ourselves in a really profound text, the Thirukkural.
Yeah, it's incredible stuff. And we've got source material focusing right on the very beginning,
Exactly, the Kadaval Vazthu, the invocation.
which most people just read as, a standard prayer.
Right, a kind of devotional opening, simple praise of God. But our mission today, based on these sources, is different.
Definitely.
It seems Thirukkural uses this section as, well, a pretty dense instruction manual for the mind.
Focusing on self-realization, internal stability, not so much external ritual.
Yeah, it's presented as a guide to internal work, which is fascinating.
It really is. And what's striking is how the sources immediately reframe that term, Kadaval Vastu. They argue it's not just praise of God. The real meaning is more like to cross the interior and realize.
Wow.
Yeah, O Kadamdu and Ardal. That translation itself shifts everything.
It totally transforms it from just a prayer to, well, a blueprint for mental control, self-mastery right at the start.
Exactly. The foundation for the whole text.
That reframing is quite something. It moves the whole focus from, say, the temple steps to inside your own head.
Precisely. The inner landscape.
So if this invocation is really a guide for that inner work, let's unpack this. What's the basic problem it identifies? What are we trying to solve here?
Okay. So according to this analysis, the fundamental issue is perception, how we perceive and get tangled up.
Tangled how?
Well, we're basically built to perceive only external things through our senses, our pyankal. That's our default operating system.
Okay, but wait. If the senses are our only way to connect with reality, how does relying on them become a trap? It seems necessary.
That's a great question. It becomes a trap because our intellect, the 𝐴𝐸, gets completely overwhelmed. Saturated, you could say.
By all the external stuff coming in.
Yeah, constant external stimulus. The mind sees things, labels them, judges, chases pleasures, avoids pains. Yeah, the drill. And this total reliance on sensory input means the intelligence gets trapped. Bound by karma, bound by delusion, my eyes, the text calls it.
And the sources link this to ego.
Strongly. It's driven by ego, anavathiaphaibil. Basically, when your awareness is always pointed outward, your core intelligence gets sidetracked into self-importance, illusion.
Which causes suffering and instability.
Exactly. That's the root cause identified here.
That makes a lot of sense. We all feel that sometimes, right? Just overwhelmed by notifications, news, comparing ourselves. It definitely leads to feeling unstable.
It does.
So if that outward path is a trap, how do we make this radical turning the text seems to call for? How do we escape?
Right, that's the critical question the invocation tackles immediately. The solution needs a shift, a big one.
Shifting.
Shifting the focus of your mental consciousness, the mana onarvai, away from that constant outward sensory stream, the pulankalan pudavasi.
So turning it inward.
Yes. Ahamvasi umukamaga tharupi. Turning it inwards along the inner path.
And this inward turning, it's not just a metaphor, is it?
Yeah.
The sources seem to describe it as something more active, like a process.
Exactly. It's described as the life movement, the 𝐸𝐸.
Life movement. Okay.
And not about shutting out the world. It's about tapping into the source of your own consciousness within.
And only through that inward turn.
Can you really hope to realize your true state, the unmai nilayai unaravendum, to get that vision of the divine, and maybe finally answer that huge question, who am I? Not Yar.
And the payoff for this? Well, it sounds like pretty demanding internal work.
The payoff is stability, the ultimate prize.
Which is?
An intellect that achieves eternal joy, where the soul finds peace. Adivila ananakil athma maithi adayam.
Eternal joy and peace. Sounds good.
And according to this view, that's the whole point of starting the Thirukkural here. You have to make your mind a stable vessel first.
Before you even get into the other stuff, like virtue and wealth.
Precisely. Stabilize the foundation.
Okay, that sets the stage very clearly. So now let's get into the text itself. How does Thiruvallur explain this? He uses an analogy in the very first couplet.
He does. A very famous one. Akaram muthala iluthalam, aki bhagavan mutratra ulagu.
And the standard reading of that is?
It's usually taken literally, linguistically. Just as the letter A, akaram, is the origin, the foundation, the root anaver of all other letters.
So the world has the primeval being, Ati Bhagavan, as its origin.
Exactly. A neat linguistic analogy for how the cosmos began.
But here's where our sources make that big pivot, the aha moment. They say it's not just linguistics.
Right. They push past that into metaphysics, into consciousness.
They're saying the text uses A to define the fundamental state needed for reality itself.
That's the core argument. The sources define the root for all worlds of intellectual operation. Basically, the reality our intelligence operates in as the state of primeval peace. Athena Layana Paramythi.
Primeval peace. So A symbolizes that.
Yes. The deepest root isn't the letter, it's a state of being. That's the claim.
And this foundational state, this A state, it has specific qualities.
The two key ones. Calmness, amethi, and crucially, composure or stability. Nithanam.
Stability, nithanam.
Yes. And the sources are quite explicit. If this foundational stability, this primeval peace, wasn't there, then no movements, no 𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐸, nothing could exist. Any action, any thought, even any letter being formed relies on having an unchanging, stable ground underneath it.
That's huge. It connects our tiny thoughts directly to how the whole universe works.
It does. The stability needed for anything to operate.
And the text provides a bigger picture for this, a cosmic example.
Absolutely. To make it relatable, it points to the universe, the Andasarasaram. That's the cosmic analogy for this stability.
Wait, how does that work? How does the cosmos show composure?
Well, think about the planets, stars, galaxies. They're moving incredibly fast, right?
Great.
But it's ordered movement, precise orbits.
Okay.
If the intelligence driving them lacked that composure, that nithanam,
Chaos.
total chaos, they'd crash, fly off, the whole system would just unravel instantly.
But it doesn't. So what maintains that order? What prevents that cosmic breakdown?
According to the sources, it's the space they move in, the void, the vedaveli.
Space itself.
Yes. This infinite space acts like the fixed rule, the unwavering foundation that allows everything within it to move in an orderly way.
And the space is linked to So space isn't empty, it's full of peace, providing the stability for movement.
That's the idea, the steady, unchanging foundation for all cosmic action.
Okay, so if the entire universe runs on this fundamental stability, what does that mean for us, for our personal inner universe?
It's a direct mirror.
How so?
Just like the cosmic order needs that composure, our personal world absolutely depends on internal composure.
Our personal world, meaning our thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. The source material calls our daily experience the world of thoughts, Inangalan Ulakangal. Everything you feel, plan, worry about, create. It all happens in this inner world.
And the raw material, the capital for building that inner world.
The text calls it the Muladhanam, and that capital is our operating intelligence of life, the 𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐸𝐸 𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐸.
Our life intelligence.
Yeah. If the cosmic intelligence provides stability for planets, our life intelligence needs to provide stability for our thoughts.
The relevance there is pretty stark, isn't it? We generate thousands of thoughts constantly. We build our whole reality, our decisions, relationships on that foundation.
Think about modern life again. Just the sheer volume of stuff coming at us.
Yeah.
Information overload. Constant pressure.
Yeah.
If our inherent knowledge, our natural intelligence combined with our life force doesn't provide enough stability, enough nithanam for our thoughts,
Then our worldly life.
our 𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸𝐸, it collapses. It descends into anxiety, burnout, bad decisions. We just can't function well if our core intelligence lacks that composure.
It's like trying to run complex software on a shaky, overheating computer versus a cool, stable one.
That's a great analogy.
The stability dictates the performance. And the text seems to say external life doesn't fail because of the environment, but because the internal intelligence lacked that stability first.
That's the absolute core principle distilled here. Through Valovar's instruction, right there in the invocation, is clear. That operating intelligence of life is the source of your inner world. You must protect its composure.
It's the prerequisite for everything else that follows in the Thirukkural.
Exactly. Virtue, wealth, love, they all depend on this stable base.
Which brings us right back around to the Kadavulvazthu's practical steps. How do we actually protect and stabilize that operating intelligence?
It comes back to that inward turn. We have to actively, habitually turn our mental energy inward, Omukamagatharupi.
And not just turn it inward, but
Stabilize it there. Anchor it in that life movement we talked about.
And that process of stabilization
Is defined as the necessary step to realize the nature of the divine state. Iradilion than Maya Unara Vendam.
So the divine isn't some external being, but that state of perfect stability within.
According to this interpretation, yes. It's perfect, unwavering composure itself.
So the true path, the true dharma, isn't primarily about external religious acts.
Not according to this reading. The unmayaram, the real virtue the text wants to impart first.
It's stabilizing the self.
Precisely. Understanding the divine, achieving inner peace, it comes strictly through finding that internal stability. The message is powerful. Tranquility and composure, nathanam, aren't just nice-to-haves. They are the root, the athi.
The foundation of all reality, both outside and inside us.
It's presented as an operational definition of divinity that's accessible to everyone. It's work, but it's accessible.
We've covered a lot. We've seen how the very foundation of the cosmos is described as this primeval peace and composure.
Yeah, this inherent stability.
And the Thirukkural, right from line 1, seems to imply that the coherence and reliability of your own thoughts, your entire inner world of thoughts, literally hinges on that same principle operating inside you.
It's a direct link, cosmic stability, personal stability.
So here's the final thought for you to mull over. Next time you feel that mental overwhelm, that cascade of external stuff pulling you in all directions, making it hard to think straight, remember this deep dive into the first line of the Thirukkural. It's asking you to check your foundation. Is your own internal operating intelligence stable enough, composed enough to actually support the complex world of thoughts you're living in?
That internal composure.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the real test of self-mastery.
Something to think about.